Hello, can you hear me? I forgot to set the feedback on, so I don't know if I can hear the sound or anything. Hey, I guess you can hear me. Good. I'm going to wait about a minute or two while I set up my photos, and I would start then on the topic itself. I'm going to be going over my Japan trips and maybe giving some tips on if you might want to travel to Japan in the future. Some things you might want to look at, some things you might want to maybe do. And maybe you can learn from my mistakes, because I made a few, and I hope that if you go, you don't make the same mistakes I did. Give me about 1 or 2 minutes. Be more people come in. Also, let me know if the BGM is loud, or is it if you can hear it at all, actually, because I'm not sure. Again, there's a way you can feedback the audio and you can hear it yourself, so you can hear yourself talk, but I'm not sure how to do that without an echo sounding, so I turned it off for now. Hopefully I can turn that on in the future. No, I did not get forcibly deported and banned. Although I was put in a position that maybe I could have gotten deported and banned had I been violent with someone on the train. But I'll talk about that later. Because, yeah, Japan is a bit crazy sometimes, and no one really talks about it. And this wasn't really in Kabuki Show, which is like the bad part everyone likes to talk about. This was in Ikebukuro, which is a fairly normal place to go to, or at least a place that many people used to go to when they travel to Japan. It's like a famous, at least for women. Women usually go to this area. I don't know why. Yeah. Try not to kick anyone on the train, because you might get deported if you do. But luckily it didn't happen to me, it happened to the guy next to me, so that was fun. So, okay, let me start up. Let me see if I can open the first few images. Is this a drinking venture? No, this is not a drinking venture at all. Oddly enough, I rarely drink when I'm traveling, because I don't want to expose myself or put myself in a position where maybe I black out or maybe my judgment is impaired, especially when I'm on a place I'm not really familiar with. It leads to possibly getting scammed, getting robbed, getting into trouble, or, you know. So if I'm gonna drink, I usually drink close to my hotel, and usually I drink enough that I either just don't get flat out drunk, or I start like just making a mess. I'm pretty calm as drunk, so I know my limits. That's another tip. Maybe you shouldn't probably drink as much if you're going overseas, because again, you don't know what you might find. You don't know what position you might be put in, where you might need to be aware of your surroundings. And I mean, shit, I'm gonna talk about it. The whole problem I had in the train. I was entering the train in Ikebukuro. The doors opened, and there was I think he was homeless, because he looked homeless. He didn't smell bad or anything. But as I was going to enter the train was fairly full. The guy was standing close to the door, and he kicked the guy right next to me because he didn't want him to come inside the train. I mean, there was enough space for about 8 or 9 people, but for some reason that guy just, I guess he was drunk or something, or I don't know, maybe he had a bad day or something, and he just kicked the dude next to me and wouldn't let him inside the train. So what the guy did was he basically did a little a twirl, like a barrel roll, to where I was standing and walked right behind me. And then as the train doors were closing, he kicked the guy that was standing near the door outside of the train. And he told him to die, because that's what Japanese do, I guess. Tell other people to die. And the train doors closed, and the drunk guy was still trying to get up and looking at what the hell happened, and the train left. But again, the dude that kicked the old guy out, the drunk old guy out, was a local. Had I done the same thing, I could have possibly gotten into trouble. And I started thinking to myself, what the hell would I have done if that was me? If I was the one getting kicked? And honestly, I think I would have grabbed the guy and I would just fucking just throw him on the ground. I mean, I'm not a confrontational person, but I mean, it's random shit like that you don't really put up with. And again, if he would have kicked me, I would have probably grabbed him by the neck and just throw him on the ground, and that would have led to a fucking mess. And that's the type of shit that gets you arrested and deported. There's cameras everywhere. They can find you. It's not, even though there's a few million people in Tokyo, it's not too hard to trace someone, because if you get in a train, the train has cameras. If you go to any station that you go to has cameras, so they can track you down. So that would be probably one of the first tips. Avoid fighting, avoid getting into problems, and getting drunk is one of the possible ways you can get into a situation where you might have to end up fighting, or, you know, because people get handsy when they get drunk. I'm pretty sure most of you have already seen the video of the guy in Kabuki show just starting a fight with the Nigerians in Kabuki show. Just start fighting, and I mean, usually those people are also drunk, and I don't know, it's a fucking mess. Don't drink, or at least if you're gonna drink close to your hotel so you don't have any problems. Let me see if I can open this fucking photo, because it's taking forever. Let me see if it shows up on stream. Let me see, shit. Let me add the source, because apparently I don't have one. And window capture, where the fuck is it? I can find, the fuck are the fuck here? Here it is. Okay. This is gonna be a bit scuffed. I don't have an overlay for it, so you're just gonna get the photos over there. So I've been to Japan 3 times. The first one was in 2023, once they opened up, because they were closed from 2020 to 2022. And they opened up in late 2022 or early 2023. I'm not sure. And once they opened, everyone started going. And I went in late October to mid-November. I spent, I believe it was 20 days or 21 days, I'm not sure. Almost 3 weeks. And honestly, it's a very long trip. And I wouldn't recommend staying any less than 3 weeks. Especially if you're gonna possibly lose the first day, because it's at least for me, it's a 14-hour trip from New York to Japan. And that's 14 hours, and there are 12 hours in the future, or you know, time zones. So if you go to Japan from New York, it's a 14-hour trip, and you basically arrive at the same time you left from New York. Because it's 14 hours plus the 12-hour difference in time zone. And my plane left like at 3 in the morning, and I arrived at almost 5 in the morning. So yeah, it's a pretty long trip, and you're probably going to miss the first day. So you have to take that into planning when you do your schedule. I suggest you do a schedule. I highly suggest you do a schedule, and it's something I have done for every single trip. But you should think that you're gonna miss out on the first day. I don't know what to do when I got there, so I started drinking. Yeah, a bunch of people do that, but I'm not like that. I like to plan my things out. I get a bit anxious if I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm the type of person that likes to know where I'm going or what I'm going to do, or at least have multiple options for each day of things I want to do. In case something happens and I cannot visit one or two places that day, I have a third or fourth option. I'm a bit like a psycho when it comes to planning things out. And I will go into that later on how I plan my trips. I'm going to basically show what I did. But first, I'm just going to talk over some of the photos I have where I took while I was on my trip. This was on my first day in Japan. I arrived in Ueno. Ueno is north of Akihabara, which is north of Tokyo Station. And honestly, it's one of my favorite places to be at because it's not as crazy as Shinjuku or Shibuya, which is the two main places most foreigners want to go to. But this is fairly active. There's a nightlife. There's a bunch of things to do actually at night. There's a bunch of bars and restaurants and places to eat at, but it's less crazy and hectic than those other two places, meaning Shibuya and Shinjuku. I will go later show you in the map what everything is. Or actually, I might actually do that right now, because if I'm gonna be talking about this shit, I should probably be showing. Let me open up Google Maps, because that's basically your best friend, or at least it was my best friend when I was over there. This shit doesn't want to work. Great. So I'm opening Google Maps. Let me add a fucking source for it. God damn it. And this shit's in Spanish for some reason. I hate this shit. Why are you like this, internet? English. Jesus Christ. Okay, let me add the source over here. Go over the photos later, I guess. Window, where the fuck are you? Let me see if this one... No, that was not it. Fucking suck at this. Let me try again. Try window capture. Where are you? And Firefox. And there we go. You see if I can maybe... Okay, the overlay is gonna be shit, so... There we go. So this is Tokyo, Japan. And this is Tokyo Station. This is central. Let me put the layers so you can see better. This is basically a central station. You can arrive to two different airports depending on where you leave from. The two main flights that go to Japan, one is from the New York, Newark, or Chicago area, and the other leaves from either California or the East Coast. Usually the flights that come from the East Coast, the West Coast, sorry, I fucking messed this up. They land over here in, where the fuck is it? Here, in Narita Airport. This was the old international airport, and for some reason, the West Coast trips, almost all of them land in Narita. I don't know why. And the problem with that is that you have to then take either a train or a shuttle bus, and it's like 2 hours to reach central Tokyo. Versus if you go to Haneda Airport, which is right here, it's about an hour train ride to get to at least to Ueno, which is over here, because you have to take there's a airport line that ends up in, I believe it's Shinagawa, I think it's where the airport line ends, and then you have to transfer to the JR line, which is the local train line that then leads to the train that gets closer at least to my area, which I was staying over here in Ueno, Ueno station. And the good thing about Ueno, as I said, is that there's nightlife, there are restaurants, there are places there are historical places you can visit, but there is also, next to it is Asakusa, which is where the big fucking temple with the big red lantern is at. And it's about a 12-minute walk from where I was staying. And there's also Akihabara, which is down here. Which, of course, if you like anime and manga, you can travel over here and just buy a bunch of shit. So I was in a fairly central area. I was right where it says Taito. So I have access to these two main areas, and I also have access to the Ueno line, which is the Yamanote line that loops around the entire city. Let me see if I can find the fucking... I think it's this one. This line over here is the Yamanote line, and it just goes around the entire city, or at least the central part of the city. When you're looking for a hotel, you should probably look at a hotel that is fairly close to a train station. It doesn't have to be the main JR lines. It could be one of the other lines that are... I can't find a... I might have to find a train map, but fuck it. Let's say... See, I was staying over here in the Appa Hotel in Inarisho. This is one of their business hotels. It's fairly cheap. I recommend staying at a business hotel because even though the rooms are fairly small, they are fairly cheap, and let's be honest, you won't really be staying inside your hotel room that much. You can barely open a suitcase in here. At the toilet, you sit and your knees are gonna hit the wall. But it's a fairly nice looking place, and it's a fairly central place. And as I said, down here there's the Ginza line. Oh look, the train line's lit up. So the Ginza line is one of the more popular train lines that is not part of the central JR line. And as you can see, it just goes all over the place, and it even ends up in Shibuya. So I have that option. I can get on the train line that leads to Shibuya, and I can stop along any of the stops. It even stops close to Akihabara, so I don't have to walk over there. Or I can simply just go from Inarisho to Ueno, and in Ueno, since it's one of the main stations, you can then take one of the other lines from around here that can lead to any other place. You see all these colors are the different train lines. So one of the things you might plan or might look to do is to book a hotel fairly close to a train station. Also, when you are getting back to your hotel at 9 or 10 p.m. after walking the entire day, because you're going to walk like a crazy person, because that's basically what you're there to do. You're there to see everything. And you want to walk the least amount possible when you get back home or get back to your location. Because I had a hotel that I had to walk nearly a mile to get back to the hotel, and it was... I mean, a mile's not that much, but when you are tired and you're carrying 30 pounds of just garbage you just bought, it gets a bit tiring. But anyway, back to the photos themselves. Fuck is this? Okay. So I'm just gonna go showing some of the photos while I keep yapping and talking shit. I used to study architecture a long time ago. I never finished, but I've always been a fan of the buildings and different architectural things. And of course, Japan is very different from where I live. So I'm going to see a bunch of shit. And I'm going to, of course, take pictures of it because that's the kind of shit I like. You see all these intricate designs and the roof tiles, which is something that we don't really see where I'm from. And on my first day, I arrived at 5 in the morning. Usually the checkouts are at 3 p.m., which is brutal, especially when you've been traveling for about 21 hours, because to get to New York, I have to take a 4-hour trip from Puerto Rico. So I was fairly dead inside, but I just couldn't enter the hotel because the check-in was not ready, so I had to wait. So I just left my luggage at the hotel. Most hotels have a space where you can store your luggage and you can just walk around, and when you come back, you can pick it up and then you can do the check-in. At least they're aware of that. So I basically walked to Asakusa fairly early in the day, and as you can see, it doesn't have that many people. After 9 in the morning, you cannot enter this place because it's full of people. It's like walking, it's almost like ants. You cannot really walk without bumping shoulders with everyone. So my advice is to maybe go either very early to many of these places or go fairly later at night, and you won't have to deal with the people. Unless you're the type of person that likes to deal with the hustle and bustle of the city, which I don't. I'm as least people I have to deal with, the better. And of course, me going to Japan is not the smartest thing when I say this, because Japan is full of people. But if you go at certain hours, you can avoid the mass of people, because it's not even, it doesn't feel like people. It just feels like a mass of humans. So, close to the Asakusa temple, there's also the Sky Tree, which is the biggest observation tower in the world. And I just went there. Where I live, I think the highest building where I'm from is like 20 stories high. So this shit is pretty crazy for me to see because I'm not used to seeing tall buildings. And the area has the Kirby Cafe. It was close because it was about, at this point, it was about 8 or 9 a.m. And I just walked around the entire area. Oh, this is the first photo I took when I arrived at the Ueno station, and it was 6:12. And it took about 2 hours to, well, it took about 1 hour to get here and about 1 hour to get out of the plane, pick up my luggage and everything. So I got to Japan at about 4 a.m. and I reached Ueno at 6. And this is the train station, and as you can see, the street. Again, it's not something I'm used to seeing. Things here are very square where I'm from. So seeing a bunch of roads going everywhere like this is a bit shocking to me, so I took photos of shit I found new or interesting to me. This is a torii gate going to my hotel. I walked from Ueno station to my hotel, and this is a torii gate that was there because there's a temple behind it. And this is something I have been seeing in anime for, I mean, decades. And seeing one for the first time is, again, shocking. These are all houses on the way there. The photos themselves are a bit mixed because I was taking photos with my camera, and I was also taking photos with my phone. And my camera, the settings, they don't have the time zone thing. So the camera settings are set to, how can I explain this? I was taking photos with my camera the following day that show up as if they were taken on the same day I took the other photos when I arrived. Because this is in Akihabara, which was on my second day. So this is the temple that was behind the torii gate. This is my hotel room. As you can see, it's not big. But I mean, it's big enough. You only need to be there to unload your shit and then just walk out and do whatever the hell you want. at night there was a festival, because apparently they celebrate Halloween by doing festivals and shit over there. I'm not sure if this is a local thing they do or this is something they adopted from the West, but for some reason they like to put up some sort of food stalls and sell beer and shit. They were doing idol performances. There were a few idol groups that were invited, and I just spent that day. That was my first day, just watching idols singing and drinking and eating and shit. And at night, of course, I took a bunch of photos from the temple and all the other places. Let me look again for the map. This is right. That's my okay. So again, I was staying in the Appa Hotel right here, and this is in Ueno Park, which is right on the other side of the Ueno station. And this was down here. There's like a little lake thing. There's a little temple, and there's a big ass sidewalk where you can walk all around the pond. There's also a zoo up here, which I didn't visit that day. I visited on my third trip, but they usually use this area to, whenever they have maybe a flea market, whenever they have some sort of event going on, or they have some random sale going on, they put up their stalls along this area, and people walk from the park to this area to buy shit and just partake in whatever event's going on. So also, when you were planning your trip, I'm pretty sure most of you have seen videos of Japan or know about Japan. So there are many places you might have in mind of where you might want to go. I think the best things I did was I looked up about a few weeks before coming to the trip. I looked up all the places I wanted to go, or all the places I wanted to see. There are many videos online on YouTube that you can also look for places. So places like Sensoji, I went to Google Maps. Of course, I'm not signed in here, but on my account, I hit save. Oh, Jesus fuck. Okay. So you can save your spots, and it puts like a little star on it. And what I did is I picked up every little area I wanted to visit, and by the end of it, I just had a ton of stars all over the map. And then I decided by area which chunk of stars I wanted to visit on a single day. So I had a bunch of stars. I had Sensoji, I had the Sky Tree over here, I had the Don Quixote, which is somewhere around here. There's also a batting cage area called the Rocks, or here. And I also wanted to visit that because we don't have batting cages here in Puerto Rico, and I used to play baseball a long time ago, so I wanted to try that. But I mean, I just picked a bunch of stars. I marked the map, and one day I went to Asakusa, another day I went to Akihabara, another day I went to the zoo. So you can group places like that, and you can then decide which one you want to go depending on how many stars or how many things are there that you want to see. That way you can have a list of things you can go to that you can maybe scratch out as you go along, but you have an idea of where to go based on how many of those stars are grouped together. Because of course, if you have a bunch of stars in this area, but you also have something you want to watch over here in the other side of the city, which might take a few hours to get to, you're not going to go from one spot to the other and then back, because you're going to lose a bunch of time. So again, my idea is to mark a bunch of these places together, and once they're clumped up together,
you can then visit that clump of stars, and then you can just write them off or delete them from the map, and then you can see what other places you haven't watched. One of the days, let me get back to my photos. So, the fuck are you? I was taking photos of the hotel view. You can see the sky tree back here. And there are many. This was in Akihabara. This was the Akihabara also. This was on my second day. So I walked over a bunch. I like to visit the temples because I like the temples have a bunch of intricate designs in the woodwork. You cannot see them here, but see things like, move this. Things like this that are carved by hand are really impressive for me to see. So I took a bunch of pictures of shit like that. This is a Confucius temple, I think. Some shit like that. It's next to Akihabara. This is Confucius. This is the Akihabara area. Some shrines and shit. Some of the Hololive merch I saw while I was there. This was back in 2023. I think all of this is or has gone up in price since then. Especially in the Akihabara area. I wouldn't recommend you to go to Akihabara to buy anything. Or at least, if you go to Akihabara to look for things, maybe take into consideration that there are other places that you might find them for cheaper. So what I do is I usually go to a few stores around Akihabara and I look for things I might like, and then I try to see if I can find them somewhere else. And if I don't, I can just go back to Akihabara and buy it. But again, you might run the risk of not finding it when you get back because merchandise in Akihabara moves fairly fast. People restock their shelves constantly and people are buying shit because this is otaku town or otaku city, so everyone's coming to Akihabara to buy anime goods. This is more Hololive shit I saw on... Move it a bit so you can see Ollie maybe. Yeah, that's Ollie. Anyways. One of the street foods they sell is the meat skewers. They just chop up a steak into squares. I ate this shit so much because it's fairly convenient, especially when I was walking around. I'm not the type of person that likes to sit down to eat or likes to sit down in a nice restaurant because I feel like I'm wasting my time. I want to eat something and just walk around as much as possible and explore the area. Never buy merch in tourist traps. Yes and no. There are some times that you might have to buy certain things. If you do the research and if you know that something is rare and there's a very low chance of finding it, I would probably consider buying it if you go to Akihabara because there is a pretty high chance that if you come back, it won't be there on the next day. But again, there are many stores that sell anime goods, especially the secondhand ones, and I would probably buy those there. In Japan, for some reason, there's a huge secondhand market. So people buy and collect a bunch of shit, and since they don't have that much room, because maybe their houses are fairly small, if they want to collect something else and they get tired of collecting that one thing, they can go back, they resell their collection, and then they buy whatever new thing is there. And since it's something that they bought for collecting purposes, the quality and it's just in perfect condition. They treat things like gold over there for some reason, versus maybe going to some secondhand market someplace else where they don't take care that much of things. I bought some Hololive merch, bought some random sushi of a restaurant that's nearby. there are many restaurants that are takeout only. And this was one sushi restaurant that just sells takeout for the workers in Ueno. And usually at night, what I would do is I would buy takeout from one of those restaurants and take it to the hotel and eat my dinner at the hotel. I believe it was the third day, I decided to go to Sensoji at 4 a.m. because, as you can see, it's empty. If you try to go to this temple, as I mentioned before, after 9 a.m. up until about 6 or 7 p.m., it's completely full. You cannot walk through these streets without just being shoulder to shoulder with people. But I don't like people, so I come over here when no one is there, and I take my photos, I visit the place, I have time to see everything. There was a salaryman, maybe he was going to work early or something, and he was there to pray, which is pretty cool. You can see people, the people that get up really early to do their morning routine, and they usually go to the temple, and you get to experience that, which is not something you get to see when there's a bunch of people going and just being there taking photos. These are the, what did you call it? The luck drawing things that you put your money and you pick up the little chopstick thing with the little sign, and it gives you your fortune. So I spent about 2.5 or 3 hours just taking photos as the sun was rising. And there's like a little river, a bunch of koi fish. This is the luck drawing thing. That's what I got. Don't tell me what the hell it means. Some of the photos are a bit blurry because of the lighting. But I took a bunch of photos. Again, the roof tiles I fucking love them. They're really intricate with their little designs. And I just went walking around the area early on. And that day was also, I was looking for something to do that day. I did not have anything planned. And I wasn't even going to do this, but for some reason I just thought of it. Maybe it was all the red coloring I saw. And I decided to go to the Tokyo Tower. Because Tokyo Tower opens up at 9 a.m. For some reason, most of the places in Japan open up at 10 in the morning. So I took an early train, which was fairly empty, and I went to Tokyo Tower because fuck it, it was going to be open at 9 in the morning, and might as well. There was also a big temple in the area I wanted to visit, so there's that. Do your collectors are flaky as shit and swap to that month's waifu? Some do, some don't, but that's kind of a good thing, because there are things that go out of many of the figures that are printed in Japan or made in Japan are limited. So if you don't buy them in that year that they, or at that month that they were printed, you're basically shit out of luck because you cannot get them anywhere else. And with people changing maybe waifus or collecting things, they change so much that some of those old collections and some of those old figures get resold on the secondhand market. So you get a chance to probably buy those figures, which on a normal case, or at least in the US, it's not something that you can easily maybe look out for or see happen, because of people collect things and they store it for a long time. And by the time they give it away, it has already passed maybe a decade or two, and the item is worth even way more. Exactly. That's how you got your Haruhi figures. And there's a bunch of Haruhi figures still in the second-hand market because people have started selling them because they're collecting the new, I don't know, Jujutsu Kaisen or whatever show is popular. So that day I went to Tokyo Tower because fuck it, I could go, I guess. It was early enough. And I visited the temple, I walked up to the tower. It was a beautiful day. I think 4 days before me actually arriving in Japan, a typhoon had gone through, and it had basically blown every single cloud out of the sky. So for like an entire week or so, there were no
clouds in the sky, which is really nice. This was me going to Akihabara. I saw the youth pets and the guy with the little kid, and I thought it was funny, so I took a photo of this. This is in Odaiba, which is where the Unicorn Gundam statue is at. I like Gundam. I'm a fairly big fan. So, of course, I went to Odaiba to just look at the fucking Gundam and look at the Gundam base, which was inside. I tried going the year after, but they were only allowing people that made reservations for some fucking reason. I don't know why. And I had not made a reservation that day. The store was mostly empty, but they still did not let me enter. I don't know why they do this, but I guess they didn't want my money, so fuck them, I guess. But that was the Unicorn Gundam. That day, I was supposed to go to Team Labs. Team Labs is some sort of museum that people like to go and take Instagram photos of. And it's basically that, just a bunch of lights and pretty shit. They sell it as some sort of sensorial experience. I mean, that's a bunch of bullshit to say that there's just gonna be pretty lights. But I had a scheduled appointment to go at about, I think it was 1 p.m. that day. So I arrived to this area at about 10 in the morning, and then walked all the way to Team Labs, which was a few miles away, because I wanted to see. This is Odaiba is also where the convention center is at, and I wanted to see that. This is some photos of the previous day, so that's why I mean they're mixed up. And these are there are a bunch of gardens leading up to the convention center, and I took a bunch of photos because the flowers were blooming. And since fall was approaching, many of those flowers and leaves were going to start to fall off. So I wanted to take a photo of them. There's a bunch of bonsais in the area for some fucking reason. I met the guy that actually made all of these. As I was walking, I was taking photos, and the guy approached me. He's like, "Oh, I made that." And I was, oh shit. And we talked a bit. He had a bit of broken English. Something cool about Japan is that people speak English, kind of. So you can communicate with them somewhat. It's not perfect, but I mean, it's good enough that you will understand them and they will understand you. So, or at least in Tokyo, that seems to be my experience. These are more photos of the view from the Tokyo Tower. More views from the tower. That's Roppongi Hills, I think it's called. It's one of the bigger buildings in the area. And as you can see, the sky was completely clear, and you can see Mount Fuji off in the distance, which is not something common. So that was pretty cool. I also like this shit down here. It's like a mesh or something. I don't know. Weird buildings. Oh, they also like scale models in Japan. So at the base of the tower, there was a scale model of the area before they built the tower. And it's pretty cool model. I took photos of it. Some photos of the tower in the reflection. That's Tokyo Station. And going fast forward to the next day where I was in Odaiba. This is a Fujifilm television center. There were some spiders in the area. I like spiders. We don't have them, or we don't have that many of them here in Puerto Rico. We have the smaller ones. So I took some photos of that. Let me see what else is there. Hey, I know you're friends with Elara. I'm not friends with Elara, actually. Like, I don't hate Elara, but I'm not her friend. I don't talk to her. I don't. So I think you should maybe ask for someone that. Oh yeah, it was a pretty big spider. But yeah, if you want to talk to Elara, maybe reach someone in her mod team, because I cannot do that for you. I'm sorry. This is a big site. There was a car convention for some reason. This all happened without me knowing.
because I was just walking through the area. There were a bunch of fancy sports cars over there. Pretty cool. Cars that I would probably never buy because I would never have enough money to do so. And that was the convention center, and people were going into the car show. As you can see, there's a wall of people. And when I was speaking about the Sensoji Temple, this is basically how it's like when you go to Sensoji Temple after 9 in the morning. Just a wall of people that you can barely just walk around. Not my favorite type of place to be in, so I usually try to avoid the crowds. And see, this is the team labs, and just, again, as I said, just a bunch of lights and water and shit. It's not my favorite place. It was, I guess it was okay. Water. Christ. But yeah, it's kind of artsy, fancy, pretentious bullshit. I went here basically because I was looking up for things to do in Tokyo, and everyone recommended this place. I was a bit adverse to it, but I had a friend who had visited Japan in March, and he told me he came here and it was cool. But I mean, I didn't take into account that he has a girlfriend, and she likes to take Instagram photos of her just posting with random shit. And of course, they're gonna have a good time because they're taking photos with all this cool shit. But it's not, again, something that I really like. This was the best part of it was the flower garden. It's like a hanging. It's a bunch of orchids that are hanging from the ceiling, and the ceiling comes down. It's just whatever. Oh, this is from inside the Gundam factory or the Gundam store. They basically have every kit they've printed, or at least most of the kits they've printed. Plus, they also have some dioramas made by people, usually famous people, or people that have won the Gunpla tournaments, the GBWC tournaments, and they have them on display. Pretty cool. This is one of the many sushi places that you can find. You just sit down, you just order from the tablet, and on the little train, shit just arrives to you. So it's pretty cool. And of course, at night, I go to either 7-Eleven or Lawson or something, and I pick up fried chicken, maybe some ice cream, a drink or two, and maybe a sandwich. And I can also eat that for lunch. If you want to save money, I would recommend buying or eating convenience stores food, because it's pretty decent. There are many, I mean, the food in Japan is amazing. But if you're on a budget and maybe you want to buy something in specific and your budget might be a bit too tight, I would recommend then just going to the convenience store, getting some fried chicken, getting some of the sandwiches that are for like $1. And that's enough for you to munch on, and it's, I mean, all of this was less than $5, I think, so it's pretty cheap. Noticed. This is something, by the way, on my way to the team labs, while I was checking out the cars in the convention center, 2 Japanese people approached me. And they were the Jehovah's Witness people. Those people are fucking everywhere. And when they were trying to communicate with me, I didn't want to offend them, so I tried to maybe escape from it by telling them that I didn't speak that well English. And they told me, well, what do you speak? And I told them Spanish. Oh, okay. And they brought some dude that was half Japanese, half, I think it was from El Salvador or something. And he started speaking to me in Spanish. I was like, oh, fuck my life. Not here. Why are you doing this to me? I'm halfway across the map. And they show up.
and they even gave me a brochure in Spanish. So yeah, I had to listen to the dude for like 40 minutes. They're nice people, but I'd rather do something else with my life than just pay attention to them trying to sell me whatever the hell they're selling me. But yeah. He offered to give me a lift to the team labs later, but I declined because I didn't want to be in the same car with that dude just talking shit for 45 minutes. This is when I went to Ueno Park the second day. One of the temples that, or first shrine I saw at night. This is the lake that has those water plants, whatever the hell they're called. It's pretty nice. It's a very nice place to be at. Very nice place to, if you exercise. I see a bunch of people usually jogging or walking around. A bunch of old people walking their dogs around the area. It's pretty cool. More temples, trifords, funny bushes, more gates. I love this shit. This is some old bronze statue that of Buddha that they melted down, and they only kept the face. I think they used they used it for ammunition or some shit in World War II. As you can see down here, you can see the original statue, which they cut the face off and then melted the rest. Some dude on a horse, some entrance to some other temple. The most perfect meat bun I've seen in my life. And they had some paper lantern exhibition in the park, which is pretty cool, as you can see. Very cool paper lantern thing. Which they would light up at night, but I didn't get back to this area at night, so I didn't see that. Or at least I don't think I did, I don't remember. This is the Tokyo Museum of Art, I think. It's right next to the Ueno Park. Let me go back to the window capture shit with the map. And this is Ueno Park. And over here is a Museum of Art. So I was in this area taking the photos of the lanterns. Thanks. As you can see, the park there's a bunch of people always walking around. There's also the zoo, which is divided in like 2 sections. It's kind of weird. But overall, it's pretty cool. Oh, there's also this massive ass cemetery, which you can walk to. But I walked to that one, I think it was this one, the one I walked to, on my second trip. I don't think I went on my first trip. Did I see any cosplayers? I don't remember seeing any. But No, I did not see any cosplayers. I did see some cosplayers in Akihabara. Akihabara is down here by the river. And in here in the main plaza, when you leave the station, there's usually a bunch of people just standing around doing nothing. But I think there was a cosplayer or two taking photos. This is a very popular spot to take photos in. As I mentioned, Google Maps is your friend. Even if you're traveling here for the first time, I have never taken public transport in my life because we don't really have a train here in Puerto Rico. So I was kind of anxious because I didn't know. I've heard of people getting lost and all that. But what you do is you open some spot here, you hit directions somewhere around here, and then you put where you're coming from, and it gives you like a list. Let me see if I can do that actually. Let's see, Inaricho station, which was the station close to my hotel, and it gives you the best or a few routes to go to. You can put here public transport, and it shows you from the station. You hit details, shows you oh wait, I put it the other way around, I think. Oh well, never mind.
But if it says if you walk all the way to this entrance of the station, you can get on the train and then you can ride, I think it's 3 stops, which is the Suhericho, Ueno, Hirokoji, Ueno, and then the Inaricho station. And then you arrive at your location. My mom is fucking being annoying. Awesome. 1 second, let me mute this shit, cause... Okay. So... say something amazing in Spanish. No, fuck you. So as you can see, you can just put any 2 locations and it will tell you a list of places or a list of train stations you can visit. Usually the first time, because I didn't know about the Ginza line, I went from Inarisho to Ueno, and then I took the JR line to the main station in Azehara. But then I found out that there was the Inaricho station line, which I could take, and it would lead me directly or almost directly to Akihabara without having to do the train transfer. But part of the fun is, I mean, riding the train and all of that. Another thing, let me get rid of this shit again. Let's go back to the photos and shit. Don't way too many photos. But as you can see, there's a bunch of architecture, a bunch of fun shit. Fucking roofs and every single joint in this temple. There's not a single nail, because they build like jigsaw puzzles. Everything locks into place. It's pretty interesting. I took the bullet train. I wouldn't recommend taking the bullet train unless you're going from one big city to another. The bullet train has very specific stops. So you're gonna be using the subway or the regular train unless you want to move from one city to the other. But I will go a bit on that later, because I did take the bullet train because I was going to Osaka after. I think I spent 6 days in Tokyo, and then I was going to Osaka for some time. As you can see, you can look at the fucking train line. This is from the Ueno station, and as you can see, there's like a bunch of fucking trains that pass through the station at all times. Of course, they were not passing at the moment, so I took the photo, but there's a bunch of different lines that pass through the station. It's really interesting. More food that I bought for $4. Fun fact, there's a bunch of cool movies you can watch at the Appa Hotel. And they're free. Fun stuff. Would recommend. 10 out of 10. Another thing, I wouldn't recommend that you pack for your whole trip, because it would be stupid. Again, if you're going ideally more than 3 weeks, you shouldn't be packing clothes for 21 days. You should be packing clothes for maybe at least 5 days or 6 days. And then at night, when everything is empty and nothing is going on, you can stop by here and do your laundry, which is something I would do at midnight. I would come every 5 days or so. I would look for 24/7 laundry or laundromat in the area, and I would do my laundry in one of these. These are fucking amazing. You just throw your clothes in there and pay like, what is it? I think it's like $8, maybe a bit less, and it would wash and dry your clothing for you. These are the machines, and they come in different sizes depending on how much clothing you have. Pretty fucking cool. This is an arcade machine I found in Akihabara, where you can play Street Fighter for 60 cents, basically. Pretty cool. And vending machines with a bunch of garbage. Did I see the Ueno Temple Gate? Yeah, I did. There's at the start of the stream, I showed a photo of it, I think. Kaminarimon, I think it's called, or some shit like that. This is a restaurant that's located next to the Appa Hotel in Inarisho. This place is fucking amazing. And this is where this is the people I hang out with. The other times I went to Japan are from they operate this this restaurant. It's a pretty fucking cool place, and inside the guy, he collected a bunch of gunpla. He was a huge nerd, and he took everything he made from college, all the dioramas, all his figures, and he then just put them on display in his restaurant. It's tiny, but it's pretty cool because he has basically a museum with a bunch of figures and patches and posters and shit. He even has the menu of his restaurant here. I would totally recommend this place. The guy is fucking awesome. There's the manju. People think it's a Nazi flag for some reason. He even has watercolor. This is a Sagok, I think, art. It's a little museum inside the restaurant. It's amazing. So there you go. He even has the covers of the boxes for his gunpla. Very nice. And he's originally from Hokkaido, so his cooking style is the Hokkaido style. I don't know what that means, but his fried chicken is fucking good. Oh, and when I was going to Osaka the following day, he made me some breakfast to eat on the train, which is some curry with eggs and a bunch of shit. Pretty nice. Oh, this is the inside of the hotel. Skin showing my flesh. And this is the bullet train. The bullet train is how can I say this? I like the bullet train because it's convenient, but it's also fairly expensive. And it's not as fast. Well, I mean, it's pretty fast, but let's say from Tokyo to Osaka, it takes 2 hours. If you were to take a flight from Tokyo to Osaka, it would take about 1 hour. And it will be about $50 or $60 cheaper. So maybe I would consider going on the train because it's cool. But it's not the most efficient way, I guess. Nor it's the cheapest way. Yeah, taking photos of people on the train. Fun stuff. And my curry. And as I mentioned before, there were no clouds, so I could photograph Mount Fuji from the train, which was pretty cool. I like to take the green car. The green car is like the first class car. It's not that, it's about, I think, $15 more expensive than the regular ticket. But you get a better seat. You don't get as many people. And you get to reserve your seat ahead of time. So that's something I like. I could maybe paid $15 less, but I would be crammed in the other car with a bunch of other people, and I wouldn't have gotten to reserve my seat. Of course, I took a bunch of photos of Mount Fuji because it's something that usually it's covered with clouds. And I arrived to Osaka, which, again, the hotel room was fairly small. But I mean, who cares? You're not going to be in the hotel that much. And yeah, I got 2 hours isn't that bad. Versus maybe if you were going from Tokyo to Fukuoka, I think it's almost 5 hours. Versus 2 hours on the plane. And about $100 cheaper. So you're probably better off taking a plane from Tokyo to Fukuoka. This Osaka, again, is a fucking mess, a city. I did not like Osaka that much. People, for some reason, they love Osaka. I was not feeling it for some reason. Maybe the weather wasn't helping because it started raining after the first 2 or 3 days I got here. And everything was wet. I even got to see Pippa on the hotel TV after I did the signing. Pokemon Center, the Nintendo store, One Piece, garbage. That's on right next to the station. There's a massive building that has a bunch of floors, and this is like on the 11th floor. Some random ass statues and shit. I bought this from the Pokemon store because why not? I still have them around. And I bought some Hololive Dojinshi from what's her name? Mom's name, forgot her name. Shit. Pochi Sensei. Takoyaki. I also visited. This is from Nara the next day. The photos are gonna be mixed in because of the time zone issue I have with my camera. But as you can see, this is all carved in wood, and it's fucking amazing. This is in one of the doorways leading up to Nara. See, this is Nara. These are all the cool ass details you get to see on the roof tiles. Some ass weird ass turtle. The fucking deer, they're everywhere. And this is the big ass temple with the massive Buddha that's inside. I was planning on going inside, but there was a huge line and it was full of people, so I decided not to do it. But I mean, fuck it, I can look at photos. At least I went to the park and just walked around. Decided to go up a mountain, play with the fucking deer. The deer are pretty chill. I would recommend coming to Nara. Nara is one of those places that you probably have to come at least once to experience. It's very nice. It's very historic. I don't know where the fuck I was taking photos of random ass bugs. But there's like a bunch of statues and temples in one single location. What is this? This is Osaka again. Yeah, many of the temples in this area are very, very old. So that's also a cool thing that you're basically seeing history. Seeing temples that have been there from maybe 700 years ago. This was close to my hotel in Osaka. Let me show you more or less where I was staying. It was a pretty good hotel. I would recommend it. Again, it was also a business hotel. I would recommend staying at a business hotel because, of course, they are cheaper and they're meant for people that are just going there to stay for maybe a few days and do business. So they're not going to be very comfortable, but again, you're not going to be inside your hotel room as much, and they're fairly cheap. I think this one was $80 a night. So this line you see over here is the Shinkansen line, and it travels. This is Mount Fuji. Travels along the coast, goes into Nagoya, which is this massive city that no one goes to live in, or no one goes because there's nothing to do apparently. And there apparently is some historical significance to Nagoya. I believe Oda Nobunaga did some shit here, but fuck it, I don't care. I wanted to come to Kyoto and Osaka because, again, it was my first Japan trip, and I think everyone has to do it. They call it the Golden Triangle, and it's going to Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka. Osaka is here, and Kyoto is in between. So it's right here, Kyoto. And my hotel was... where the fuck is... Okay, here's the airport, here's the Osaka station, so it's here. This is the they call it, Osaka Umeda station. This is the main station from Osaka. They later built the other one that has the Shinkansen. But this is the main station in Osaka, in Umeda. And down here, see where I can find it. Was it here? Yeah, I think it was here. There's a spot right here, and this is my hotel, the Rise Osaka, which is actually going for, see, $41 night. So you're in a fairly central location. There's two train stations here. There's one up here. It's gonna take you about 12 to 15 minutes to get to this station up here. Or there's a station down here when you cross the river, which leads to a bunch of other shit. So it's a fairly central place to stay in. It's close to
train station, and these are the type of hotels I would probably recommend you stay at, because you can move around quickly, and when you get back from walking in Nara for I don't know how many hours I spent walking, I was almost dead, so I just wanted to get to my hotel fairly fast. I arrived to this station down here. So again, I would recommend you stay close to a station, because you're going to walk the most you probably walked in your life, and you don't want to walk that much at night when you're getting back to your hotel. The Osaka Castle is fairly close by. You can walk there. The Tombori, which is the Glico man statue dude, and the river thing is down here. Or here. Tombori. This very famous area. There's a bunch of places to eat and just fuck around. And a bit further south is Namba Station, which is close to Nipponbashi, which is the Akihabara equivalent ward in Osaka. So I was fairly close. If I took the train, I was fairly close to this area, because I was looking for anime merch and shit. Let me go back to photos. See that's the river that was close to my hotel room. That's central part here because there's two rivers, and there's like a little long ass island in the middle between them, and this is like the government buildings are all shoved into that little island in the middle. It's pretty cool. Crap, I clicked out of it. I bet. So I decided to climb up some random ass mountain in Nara. It's barely visible here, but you can see one of the Nara Pagoda, which is in some other area, but you can see it in the distance. For some reason, my feet were all busted up. I don't recommend taking crappy shoes to Japan. If you don't have good walking shoes, I would recommend that you buy good walking shoes. Maybe even buy them over in Japan, because the exchange rate is better for you, so you might find things way cheaper over there. I have never owned a pair of Nike walking shoes, and I bought my first pair in Kyoto after walking up this mountain in Nara and fucking my feet up pretty badly. I live in a very hot place, so my shoes over here are mostly open so that air can just breathe right through, and my feet don't sweat. The problem with that is that every temple has like gravel, and those little rocks will get inside your shoe, and it's not fun. So I would recommend buying shoes, or I mean, at least getting them once you get over there, because you might find them at a cheaper price. Did I go to the Weep Center, Japan? Yeah, I did go to Akihabara on my second or third day I went there. And I also went to this place, the Nipponbashi Denden Town, which is the Osaka, basically Akihabara in Osaka. And it's even better because it's cheaper. For some reason, the prices in Tokyo are way higher. These are the different temples. This is the top part of the temple with the big ass Buddha. So I climbed up this mountain, and there's just a million temples in this area. This is close to Osaka Station. No, this is, where the fuck is this? Oh, this is the Namba Station, close to Nipponbashi. See, the photos are all mixed in. Here, sniffing his ass. See, this is the big ass temple with the Buddha inside, and as you can see, it's full of people, and I didn't want to go inside because I don't like being with a bunch of people. This is the Melon Books has
the newest manga. Anime has some anime merch, but it's usually keychains and plastic stands or the acrylic stands. Not my favorite place. I've walked for 2 hours before, so I'm used to walking. I don't know if you've been to Japan, but I can tell you that I probably spent more than 2 hours walking. I mean, the average was around 24,000 steps. And there was one day in my last trip that I did 32,000 steps. This is some random Vietnamese restaurant I found in Denton Town, and I bought some duck. Shit was nice. I would recommend, and was also very cheap. And this is one store that they were going to open up soon, but I was not going to be in the area. But it had a bunch of custom gunpla, bunch of kit bashes, and really detailed stuff. Amazing work, whoever the hell did this. So I took some photos of the model kits, because this shit is fucking amazing. It's possible these might be the Chinese third party, because they look too detailed. Maybe they're not kit bashes. I'm not sure. But as you can see, there's a bunch of shit. Took a bunch of photos of it. At night, they lit up the trees and everything with like Christmas lights, because it was, at this point, it was November 2nd November or 3rd November, or some shit like that. And they started decorating for Christmas. I bought memma from Anohana, some random insert from some manga that I'm sure is not sus at all. And this was on my way to Nara that I stopped on. When I went to Nara, my plan was to go to the main station and then go to the park from there. But I saw a big ass temple, and I decided to stop on the next train station after that, which was a bit of a mistake, kind of. And like, I'm glad I did, but at the same time, my feet were killing me at this point. So that meant I had to walk way more to my location, or to that park I was initially planning to go to. Let me show you. It's kind of wild when you see this map. Everything's like brown, I mean gray. So Nara is down here somewhere. And this is the main station. Where is it? It's somewhere around here. I think it's this one. This was the main station, which is right next or fairly close to the park, which was where I was going. But I decided that I had seen some huge ass temple, this one, when I was coming in with the train, and I decided to stop right here in Shin-Omiya, which led me to then walk all across this river. And eventually I got on the road and I got to the park. So I had to walk a few miles, which was not recommended because my feet were pretty much busted up. But it was an amazing little walk. I saw a bunch of shit around there. Apparently during cherry blossom season, this entire tree is lined up with cherry blossoms and it turns pink. Which, let me see if I can find... Fuck. I have to type it here. Saho River. And as you can see the photos from Google Maps. Let me look for... These things are pink. Sorry if it's a bit small, but I don't want to resize the window because I'm lazy. But as you can see, the entire... Oh, this is a video. The entire walk alongside the river is just lined up with cherry blossoms. It would be nice to see this, but one of the problems with the cherry blossom season is that it's high season and there's a bunch of people there and everything is more expensive, so I haven't gone during that season. Cherry blossom season is around April. Oh, at least some of that was resin. Yeah, it's probably resin kits. Let me go back to my shit. Jesus, it's 8 p.m. Been streaming for how long? 1.5 hours. I thought I would have been further along. Taking forever. Awesome. As you can see, they mark their cherry blossoms with numbers. I don't know why. Maybe if something happens to one of them, they can call the number out, and the person who's going to be working or doing whatever the hell goes to the specific tree or knows which tree to go to. And this is the path. Everything is fucking amazing. Everything looks nice in Japan. It's impressive. And it's something also that I don't really have here where I live. We don't have cities built around rivers or close to rivers like this. I mean, walkable rivers. We have rivers, but you cannot get close to them. And usually they're not well canalized like this. Usually in Japan, they have dams further up the mountain, and the water that comes down, even if it's raining, is not this massive mass of water that floods everything. So they control their waterways to keep things fairly nice so that you can maybe walk alongside the rivers and shit like that. And that's something that we don't have here. Here we have flash floods and the entire area gets flooded around the river. So it's something pretty cool for me to experience and see. And the rivers have these little stones in the middle that you can cross from one side to the other. Yeah, apparently there was some old railway perpendicular to where I was going that it has some historical significance to the city. I didn't go because, of course, it was up north from where I was going. So I skipped on that, but here's one of the... I don't know what the hell this is. I think it's a wheel of the train or some shit. And they have it there. Their manhole covers are all decorated with like little designs and shit. Some of them have Pokemon stuff and Gundam stuff in them. Pretty cool. More flowers. This is like old photos from Nara. Christ. And these are the deer. They're always there. They're always begging for food. Fucking fat bastards. Oh, they also had a little flower exhibit. These are the... I don't remember what they're called, but they're pretty nice. And they're always... I've seen many of these flower exhibits. I don't know why they do them, but they always have them around. And they have it in like different colors and like white, pink, and yellow and shit. Pretty cool. Sent to them. I guess that's the word. I'm not good. They also have like a little bonsai-ish exhibit with flowers. It was pretty cool. And this some of the shit I bought over there. This is in Dotonbori, I think. It's a little hidden shrine. This is the Don Quixote that has like a... Is it a Ferris wheel? Because I mean, this is not a wheel, but it's the same concept, I guess. Just goes in a loop around. You can get on top and see everything. I didn't get inside. Maybe on my next trip, if I go to Osaka, I'll stop there. See, this is one of the government buildings that was in that inner inlet leading to the hotel. This is one of the manhole covers with the Osaka Castle. And these are the trains. They do not resemble the trains where I'm from. I mean, we have one subway where I'm from, and it's kind of shitty. It's always dirty. It's full of homeless people, and I don't really ride it. But as you can see, you can probably drop your food on the floor and you can eat from the floor. And the seats aren't suede. I don't know how they do it, but this is freaking amazing. I was really impressed by the trains over there. And this was going to Kobe. That one is the Kobe line. Kobe, of course, is famous for their beef. But they are also famous for their port. They have like a bunch of shit in their port. And they also have the first Buddhist temple that was ever founded in Japan, that was constructed in Japan. was in Kobe. And for some reason, I decided I wanted to visit it because why the hell not? My feet are already fucked up. Might as well walk up a bunch of mountains or walk as much as possible just so I can really break my feet up and really tenderize whatever's left of them. So you took a cable car up a mountain. And then you take another cable car across from one mountain to the other. And you can see the entire city of Kobe. This is the city of Kobe in its entirety. And the day was a bit hazy, which is sad because you can almost see over here, Osaka is right here. Osaka is right next to Kobe. At night, this is one of the most spectacular views in Japan. At least I have seen people claim that, but I didn't stay here until night. If I come back, I might consider it just for the view. It's really amazing. And this is me walking to that temple. It's a pretty cute temple with frogs and shit. They were doing one of those coming of age ceremonies. So I didn't take photos of it, of course, because I didn't want to photograph the people. But I sat on the bench and listened. There was a little bench off to the side. And I watched the whole thing. But the families were taking their kids to, I don't know, get blessed or some shit. Pretty cool. And then coming down from the mountain. And I wanted to eat some Kobe beef because why not? This has been the most expensive plate of food I have ever eaten in my life. It's amazing. Would I do it again? Probably not, because I mean it was I think it was $120, so it's not cheap. But it was so fucking good. And they just serve, they just show you the piece of meat. They gave me a chart of the cow, where it came from, who its parents were. They almost gave me the life story of this poor cow, which I was gonna eat. Maybe they do that to make you feel bad or something, I don't know. But I don't care. And they don't really, they prepare some vegetables on the grill. I think it's what the shit's called, teppanyaki or some shit, the little table grill thing. And they serve you vegetables. I'll PayPal you $1. I don't know. Don't worry about that. And they gave me some eggplant. This is not sure what the fuck this is, but I've seen it a bunch of times before. And they don't, the meat itself, they don't season it. They let you do the seasoning, and they give you garlic, wasabi, pepper, and salt, so you can season it to your taste. They recommend that you just try with each one, and then whichever you like the most, and you do that. And for some reason, the photos of the actual steak cooked, I don't have them. I'm pretty sure I did take some photos of them. Or maybe I just ate and forgot to take photos, so my bad. But this is a restaurant. Morinya, I think it's called. It's close to the Kobe Sannomiya station. You can look it up in Google Maps. I can probably look it up right now, but it's gonna take me a while because I have to go off by memory. And this was a bonsai that was right outside of my Osaka tree. A good thing about Osaka, and the reason I went to Osaka in this trip, was because Osaka is like a good central hub. You can travel to a bunch of places. Guess I'll have to go to the fucking map. But Osaka is one of those spots where you can see Osaka's here, Nara is right here, Kyoto is right here, Kobe is right here, and Himeji is right here. So a good thing about going to Osaka is that one day you can take a trip to Kobe, maybe go to Himeji, go to Kyoto, go to Nara, maybe even go to Wakayama, although I don't think there's much to do in Wakayama, but I mean the option is there. Might as well fucking look for a thing. The temple I went to was this one, Tennoji. and it's of course in the middle of nowhere. But there's this ropeway that leads up to it, which is pretty cool. And the Kobe beef itself, Motomachi, no, where is Sanomiya Station? Sanomiya Station, right here. I think it's around here. The Morinya place I said, it's somewhere around here. As you can see, everything is fairly close to the station, so it's always good to plan things around stations because it's a place you can get to fast. If not, you're gonna have to take public transport, maybe one of the buses. I don't really understand the bus system over there. Getting down from the mountain was a bit of a hassle because I had to take one bus and it was not properly labeled, or I don't think it was. I don't know. It was weird. It was really weird, I guess. So I missed the bus I was supposed to take and I took another bus, but luckily that other bus I took happened to pass by the station that I was going to. So I managed to get off. But the original bus was going to stop down here and I was going to take the train. The new bus ended up going to the main station in Sanomiya, which is closer, I guess, but it was not what I was planning to do. But I mean, Google Maps usually helps with that. But again, I was kind of weirded out because every bus didn't have a name. It just had katakana symbols, and I don't know katakana, so I was trying to figure out what the hell was what. So yeah, fun stuff. So I almost took a bus, and luckily I didn't get lost, or luckily I didn't end up in the wrong side of town. This is Osaka Castle. I didn't go to Osaka Castle because you had to make a reservation, I believe, that time for some reason, and I just didn't feel like it. Some random building with some crystal ball in the middle. And this is me just walking around, looking at the different walkways and shit around the city. This is a cool park in the area, and whatever. After Osaka, I went to Kyoto, but I only stayed 2 days in Kyoto, which is something I regretted, and that's why my second and on my third trip I have stayed a week in Kyoto both times, because Kyoto sorry, in Kyoto there are a bunch of things to see, but the main tourist attractions people can usually see in a few days. And of course, I don't really give a shit about the main tourist attractions, except Fushimi Inari, which is the shrine with the million gates. So of course, I wanted to come here, but I didn't want to have to deal with the crowd. So I took a taxi at 4 in the morning, and I decided to climb up the mountain at 4 in the morning because no one's going to be there. And some of the photos might be a bit blurry because of the lighting. I'm sorry about that. But it was pitch black. But every single area had like a little lantern or so. It's pretty nice. And I would recommend, if you ever come to this shrine, I would greatly recommend that you come at 4 in the morning. It was a really nice, cool experience, and you are basically alone there. So there's no one blocking your photos or no one in the middle trying to do pull-ups from the torii gates or anything like that. It's really, really cool. And it takes about an hour and a half to get to the top of the mountain where there's a shrine up there. Yeah, a bit blurry photos, my bad. I had to take some cool shots, but I fucking failed. It's just a bunch of gates. Gates and gates. There's like a middle resting area, or, well, it's not the middle, it's like a 75% of the way up there. And you can see the city. And it's pretty fucking cool. When I came down from the top, it was already, sunlight, the sun had already come up, and there's like a better view of the photo. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But there are a bunch of little like shrines or stations along the way to the top, and you can just stop alongside and maybe pray or whatever. I think each one is for a different deity or something. Or I don't know, maybe I'm making shit up. But as you can see, this was my way up there was basically this, just pitch black. Well, not pitch black because you can see the sky, but there's like a bunch of foliage and stuff around. And with the gates and everything, it's got a pretty cool like lighting effect with the gates. It's kind of creepy and mysterious and shit. It's pretty cool. I think this is one of those spots. There's a bunch of cats in this shrine. Those are the walkways with the torii gates. And this is the top of basically they call it the number one shrine or something like that. They're labeled. They're like 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the one. And there's a bunch of statues and gates and mini gates and more gates and cats and torii gates that someone chopped off. And yes, you can pet the cats. I mean, some of them. And this is the view from that halfway point. You can see like a bunch of shit from up there. And at the bottom, this is already at the bottom. There's a bunch of more statues and lanterns and shit. And as you can see, there's like a bunch of people just started going up. When I came here at like again 4:30 in the morning, I think it was, there were I believe 5 people I think I saw during my climb up the mountain. And then coming down, I saw thousands. This is off to the side. There's a little area which no one usually goes through, and this is the bear shrine. It's full of beer and it's not sake. What's it called? The shochu, I think it is. This is the main river in Kyoto. I recommend staying along this river because it's fucking beautiful. And it's also close to one of the main shopping areas in Kyoto. There's this covered area with 2 streets that are covered. Give me 1 second, because someone is calling me. Okay, back. My bad. Parents cannot take no for an answer, I guess. This is random stuff I saw. There was salsa classes. And weird in Kyoto. Interesting, I guess. But this is all alongside the river. And that's the entrance to that shopping district area. Off to the side, there's like a sushi restaurant where you can buy takeout, which is something I did. And they were building a church right across the street from where I was staying. And this is my hotel. Again, my hotel with as I said earlier, you can leave your luggage in the morning if you arrive early. And then you can just explore the area and they keep your luggage safe. And when you come back, you can pick it up and do your check-in. This is your hotel room comes with like a little list of places you can go eat. I did not eat here until my 3rd trip, but I did go to this place. It's pretty fucking good. And this is some sushi I bought. This is unagi, eel, and rice, of course. Pretty good. And I ate it at the lobby of the hotel before they let me go up to my room. Very spacious room. But this one was a bit more expensive. But everything in Kyoto is also fairly expensive. As you can see, I bought a pair of Nike shoes because my feet were destroyed. There's shrines and gardens and shit. This is a shopping street. More shrines along the shopping street. Nintendo store. This is a Mandarake store, which is a second-hand collector store. And this is going to mix in some of the photos from the previous day, which are kind of cool, I guess. But, of course, the mandatory boars and bear warning signs. This one was for boars. Apparently, I don't think there are bears in this area, but there are boars, which are about as dangerous as bears, I guess. Well, maybe not as much, but they can be fairly dangerous. Go past all this shit. I had planned to come to this. One of the main, I had a few main things I was going to do when I was going to come on this trip, and coming at 4 a.m. to Inari Shrine was one of them. I suggest you plan things out like that you have a few must-do things, and then a bunch of other suggested places that you might want to go around the area. This brought it with termites. This was a new gate that they had installed in a few days prior to me coming here. And this is that area with the view. You can see there's way more people during the daylight. I was petting those two cats. This is like a side path I took coming down, so there are that many people. But as you can see, there are along the gates, there are way more people there. And on that bear shrine area where I mentioned before, there's like a bamboo forest type of thing that you can visit, and it's not as impressive as the Arashiyama one, but it's pretty cool. And no one comes to this area, so you can pretty much explore it to yourself. It's pretty cool. Let me go back to the map and go back to Kyoto. This is the main river, the Kamo River. I stayed somewhere around here, right next to the graveyard. I was fairly close to this train station, and up here there's another train station. So I had two train stations. They're both connected to the same line. But I had a train station close by that I could travel, or I could walk all the way down here to this one and take this train station that will take me to Nara and Osaka and all that. And let me look for Inari. Fushimi, Inari, Akitama, Fushimi. I'm going off by... Right. Post it off. I'm going off by... just what I remember. So this is the Fushimi Inari mountain. And the bear shrine... Wait, no, this is not the mountain. This is this is another place. Fushimi Inari is... Where the fuck are you? Here? Yeah, Inari. Okay, found it. This is the entrance with the gate and the red temple thing. And this is the mountain. Way bigger. My bad. But off to the side, when you see these gates over here, off to the sides you can get off and you can travel down this side path. And all of this is bamboo. All of this is bamboo. And you can see all the shit that I'm showing. So it's off to the side. When you enter the main shrine and you reach the first bunch of gates, instead of going through the gates, you go off to the side and you walk down here. And you can get to this area, which is below all of this. As you can see, it's just full of people. People are going in and out of the gates, but you're down here, and the bamboo area is somewhere around here. It's pretty cool. You even get... Oh, it's marked here. So you can see it's pretty... Oh, wait, I'm an idiot. I wasn't showing the fucking map. I'm a retard. You can see it's like a bamboo forest. Let me show it again. This is the main shrine, this area over here. And once you reach the red gates, you go off to the side down here and you take a detour. And eventually you end up down here with the bamboo forest. All this all these trees you see here that look kind of different are bamboo trees. Fun stuff. But that's basically, I don't want to spoil it that much for you. Oh, that was a random shot. As you can see, those are the gates, and see you're walking on the side of them, on the side path. Pretty cool. This is the Nijo market. This is the oldest market, I believe, in Kyoto. It's a historical one. It's full of people. It's a mess. There are some places that you can eat some decent, like street food, meaning skewers and fried octopus and sushi and shit. But it's kind of overpriced, and it's always full of people. I wouldn't recommend it. The river I was talking about has a huge path alongside of it, and it's really nice. There's a bunch of people just sitting down, relaxing, having a picnic and everything. Really nice. The historic part of Kyoto, or I mean the old town part, is on the other side of the river, from I was staying. So the part with the geishas and everything like that was on the other side. That's a Goblin Slayer figure I saw, but it was fairly expensive. And this is from that sushi place I mentioned earlier. And I bought some mochi from one of the stores in the market. And this is back in, after 2 days in Kyoto, I went back to Tokyo. But I went to, instead of going to Ueno, I went to Shinjuku, which is the other like busy, cool place to go to, or at least that people go to. Honestly speaking, it's not that great. It's just a bunch of shit. But I stayed in the big red brick building on I believe it was like a 12th floor or something like that. Bathroom was amazing. Really big. The bed and the view outside. I ate steak sandwiches in this place. Apparently they closed. Face, blue covering eyes. What? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Let me see. See, this is the hotel. I stay like in one of these rooms up here. Really cool. And I have a view to the train station, which is the most impressive area. Yeah, I finally went live. This is a test. This is not a proper stream, I guess, but I'm trying to test my streaming setup, and I'm trying to figure out some kinks and stuff. It's my second test stream. This is Kabuki-sho, which is basically right in front of the hotel. Kabuki-sho is like you cross the street, and the next street you go in, and inside of here is Kabuki-sho, where all the drunk people are at, and where all the shit happens, and where all the Nigerians offer you drugs and sex and stuff. Fun stuff. That's I bought some really old Gundam figures, price figures, and I bought them at a fairly nice price. Satsune Miku, I guess. This is the entrance to Kabuki-cho. Hanasono Temple, which is, well, you've probably seen it a few times in anime. I didn't take too many pictures because there was a bunch of Nigerians around, as you can see. Yeah. Oh, you cannot see me because I'm vlogging him, but look at him right there. I'm sure he's not doing anything shady, is it? We've only been waiting for 2 years. Wait, what do you mean 2 years? Probably like 4. So yeah, this is the Golden Guy, which is full of little bars you can go hang out with. I did not drink here. Again, the place was full of Nigerians, and I wouldn't recommend getting drunk around Nigerians. because they're very pushy and they all want to scam you. And this is on my way back to the hotel. Apparently, I took a street that is full of prostitutes, and I had not known that. I later found out. Fun times. Yes, 2 years since the model was completed, but I mean, I had a really old model about 4 years ago. And this is me taking photos of. They sell, not only do they sell Gunpla on many of the stores, but some people make and paint their own Gunpla, and then they sell the custom Gunpla for you to buy. Pretty cool. This is in Nakano Broadway. If you've seen Pippa's stream, she has talked about it. This is a store that sells really old Dragon Ball merch. Bunch of plastic shit. Even the fucking tower. I mean, I'm from the Spicy Island, so of course I know my Dragon Ball. There's a bunch of random shit. Pretty cool. So if you want to know which street you want to avoid, because you want to avoid those dirty prostitutes. So let's go here. This Shinjuku is right here. My hotel was this one. I have you to the train tracks. And this is Kabukisho. This area around here. And this is the Appa Hotel in the area. I was originally planning... Oh wait, I didn't. I'm not showing because I'm a retard. Got to switch the shit. 1 second, let me open this shit up. So this is Shinjuku. This is Jesus Christ. This is my hotel over here. And this is Kabukisho, this street. And it covers basically this area. And there is a hospital right over here. Okubo Hospital. And this is a little Okubo Park, and the prostitutes are over here along this line. But the reason why I walked through the street was because this is the batting center, and this is not only is there a batting center here, there's also a batting center here. And if you have played Yakuza, which I have not, you probably have seen this place. And as I said at the start of the stream, I love going to these batting places because it's something I used to play baseball a long time ago, and I just like hitting the ball. It's good exercise, it's fun, it's something cheap you can do, and it's something to do. So if you walk all along this street, was a weird bird, you get to the Okubo Park. This is the other batting cage. And walk, motherfucker. And this is Okubo Park, which all along here is lined up with prostitutes. And this area also. So it's full of prostitutes. Pretty cool. But if you get to the end of it, you can see that my hotel is over there. So that's why I walked through the prostitute street, because I was on the batting cages. Omoide Yokosho is like the other golden guy, but way smaller. It's like 1.5 street of bars and shit. This is some old photos of the area in 1970. And pretty interesting stuff. How much JP should you know comfortably? Honestly, I don't really know that much. I know a little bit. I can read hiragana and katakana, but I don't really know what the words mean. So even though I can identify some of it, my fluency is piss poor. You don't need to know Japanese. You should probably take your phone and use your Google Translate or DeepL to translate stuff. And that's basically the best way to communicate with people. People in Tokyo understand some English, so you can get by with just speaking broken English to them. You just have to remind to have a very racist accent. And I know that sounds horrible, but that's the only way they understand you. So you have to make the most racist Japanese accent you can imagine when you speak English, and they will understand you. Oh, they were showing anime on the TV, which is interesting. This is something I found. I did my laundry, and apparently it's strictly prohibited for pissing or vomiting inside the laundry, which is good to know. Again, this is close to Kabukicho, so I could understand why they put this sign there. Because there are a bunch of drunk people puking and pissing everywhere. And on the other side of the road, there's a Don Quixote with a bunch of bikes and shit. This is close to Koreatown. On the other side of the road, oh, look at that. Look what I found. Yeah. Apparently they are the biggest EN VTubing company. Or they were. Yikes. And oh yeah, there's basically an everything town in Japan. There's even a Brazilian town in Japan. There are a couple of Chinatowns in Japan. Yokohama has the biggest Chinatown, and Kobe has the second biggest. And there are a bunch of Korean towns in Japan. This is... I don't remember. Oh, this is the back part of the Shinjuku Station. This is a movie I wanted to see, but I wasn't going to spend 2 hours in the theaters. But I have to get it totally legally soon, now that I remember. Let me write it down. Gunpla, the stores. This is a Surugaya, I know, because they use the same ugly ass tile pattern on the floor. The light blue and dark blue. And they sell a bunch of kits at a fairly, well, not that one, at a fairly cheap price, as you can see. This is the Seira Gundam, and it's going for about $39, I think, which is very cheap compared to what you might get it on the States. You can probably get this for $60 something in the States. So you can get a bunch of deals when it comes to Gunpla. I love Gunpla, and I bought a shitload of it. As you can see, these are many of the kits I saw there. I bought some okonomiyaki, but I dropped it and it just turned to shit because they had a festival on Hanasono Temple. And I bought some meat skewers, which I ate at the hotel. And this is all the shit that I bought. It's a bunch of Gundam, old ass Gundam figures. Oh, and the Hololive keychains. And the case on keychain. Fun stuff. I got the Myth collection, which is always nice. And this is me. I decided to walk to, what's it called? The Meiji Jingu. And on the way there, they had a Joy Sound. They were promoting their Hololive because they were putting the Hololive music on Joy Sound, which is a karaoke place, which I later visited. This is a Meiji Jingu. This is like the main temple or the main shrine in Japan. And people I come here to get married. As you can see, there's a bunch of spiders and shit. This is one of the weddings that was happening as I was there. And they were leaving the temple, and as they were leaving, another wedding was entering the temple, which is pretty cool. And the flowers. This
place is really nice. I recommend that you come visit because it's, again, the temple is nice, the park around it is nice. It's also in a very good place that where when you leave, you can either continue to what's it called, the park. Forgot the name of the park, but the main park in Tokyo, and there's also the Harajuku area, which is nearby. More flowers, more bonsai. Starting to wonder if this was the same flower and bonsais I saw in Kobe a few days before. Bunch of shit. More shrine, torii gates. This is the entrance to Harajuku, and as you can see, there's a disgusting amount of people there, so I didn't go. These are the go-karts that everyone hates, and I just walked back all the way and stopped at that Joy Sound to sing karaoke. Rented a room for about an hour, drank some whiskey and shit, and ate some onigiri, I think. I don't remember. And on my final day of the trip, I ended up in Yokohama because I wanted to watch or see the Gundam exhibit, the walking Gundam, because I knew they were going to take it down. And this was the last time I was going to be able to make it, which I did, luckily. And here he is in all of his glory. Pretty cool. They took him down, and I think they put him up in Osaka for the World Expo shit. And I'm not sure what else they're gonna do with him, or if they're gonna move him to another place. But this is currently there were three Gundam statues, or 1-to-1 Gundams in Japan. The first one was the Unicorn Gundam in Odaiba, which used to be the RX 78, 79, no 78, which they replaced for the Unicorn. Then they put this one up here in Yokohama, and they have the new Gundam in Fukuoka, which on my third trip, when I visited Fukuoka, I got to see. Oh, see, this is the view from my hotel. This is the Omoide Yokocho or something. No, Omoide Yokocho. Yeah, Omoide Yokocho. It's like the golden guy, but it's like in a smaller scale next to the tracks. They were gonna. It moved and shit, but there was a bunch of the wind. The gusts of wind were very strong that day, so they delayed the whole thing for about an hour. That's pretty cool. At the end of the day, it just comes out. Let me see if I can find it. And it lights up and it kind of walks, but it doesn't. It's fake. It's actually held on by a big base back here. Then it does the kneeling pose. I believe it ends up with him pointing up to the sky. That's just kind of a gimmick, but I wanted to see it. And I also wanted to buy the exclusive Gundam figures that were in this place. When I went to Yokohama, something that I might also recommend, this is something that I have done twice now. Wait, let me see. Did I have it? Yeah, I've done this twice now. On my first and on my last trip. On my first trip, my last part of the trip, I wanted to go to Yokohama to see the Gundam. So the last 2 days, I stayed on the, not viewable here, but it's called the King Skyfront. And this is across the river from the airport. That way, when I checked out on the day I had to depart, I could they have a shuttle bus in the hotel that takes you across the bridge and directly to the airport. On my second trip, which I went to Fukuoka, when I arrived in Tokyo, I stayed in this hotel, which I got lucky because my trip got delayed, and I arrived at 1 in the morning, and all of the trains were closed. So if you wanted to leave the airport, you were forced to take a taxi. Had I gone and stayed in Tokyo, the city itself, like central Tokyo, I would have to pay
like $30 or $40 to get there by taxi. But since this was across the bridge from where I arrived at, I only paid about $8 and I got the taxi and they left me at the hotel. So that's something to maybe take into consideration if you're traveling, because you don't know at what time you're going to arrive in Japan, especially when the trips get delayed or whatever. Also, when I arrived on my third trip, I stayed here because I wanted to be close to the airport, because I had to travel to Fukuoka by plane. I was not going to take the train because the train was going to be about $300 and about 8 hours or 6.5 hours, something, either 6.5 to 8 hours. So I'd rather take a trip by plane, which is about $80. You can see this is like the area in front of the hotel where I was staying at. This is like an industrial zone, which a bunch of offices and stuff, but it's pretty cool. It's very nice. It's I don't know. It feels like new, I guess. But it's a pretty cool place. It's not too far away from Tokyo itself. It's just across the main river that's separating Tokyo and Yokohama, so it's fairly close by, and by train from Tokyo to Yokohama it takes about maybe half an hour. This is the lobby, which is like a bunch of cool stuff. I like the industrial look. They had this Beetle. Is it a Beetle? It's a Porsche, but it looks like a Beetle. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know my cars. But it was a cool car, and as you can see over here is the airport across the river. Overall, it's a pretty cool area. There was another reason why. This is the shuttle bus that takes you. They have two shuttle buses. One takes you to the hotel, and I mean not to the hotel, to the main train station, and the other one takes you to the airport. And they're free to ride as long as you're a guest in the hotel. This is in Yokohama. This is Skyline Yokohama. This is one of the biggest buildings in the world. Pretty cool. This is going to the Gundam factory area. Any of the displays. I think the staff built all these. A bunch of gunpla that I don't think are available. It's cool stuff. They had this bust to sell, and they have this one, the G-Dog, which I believe I have, or maybe I gave it away, I'm not sure, but it's there. I mean, you cannot buy it anymore because it was a limited item. I did get the entire Gundam at this size. It's somewhere in my closet. Oh, and this is my hotel. It has a shower, doesn't have a bathtub, which is kind of rare in Japan, but it's fairly nice. It's industrial, and I wanted to also stay in this area because there's a Book-Off Super Bazaar. Book-Off is a secondhand store. There are many of them all over Japan, but the Super Bazaar are like the Book-Off on steroids, and it just has everything. It has surfing items, skiing item, it has books, it has anime, manga, it has figures, it has model kits, it has shit for your house. It's pretty freaking cool. This is the train station I had to go to get to from the hotel. The Book-Off. Some random driving. This is a temple right next to a driving school, I believe. And this is I had to buy a second luggage. I bought a luggage from there's a store, home goods store, that had luggages and shit, suitcases and shit, temples and shit in the Kawasaki area. This is called Kawasaki, this area. Very nice temple. There is also a very interesting shrine in this area, which is the Dick Shrine. And apparently this was if you've seen videos of Japan,
This is where they take out that pink dick and they just parade it all over town for some festival. I don't remember when is the festival. I think it might be in February. I have to check. If it's in February, I was planning on going next year, maybe in February, so I might maybe visit that festival. But yeah, apparently this was their shrine where it was for the blacksmiths. But for some reason, they turned it into like fertility shrine or some shit. And I guess the blacksmith started making dicks out of iron and shit. So as you can see, look at that boy. And there are many, what they're called, the fucking anvils. There are a bunch of anvils all over the shrine. And of course, dicks and anvils. Funnily enough, this shrine is located right next to like a kindergarten. Oh, you can. This building right here is like a kindergarten. So the dick shrine is right next to the kindergarten. Interesting stuff, I guess. This is the one of the stores where I bought the suitcase. It's like a mall with a bunch of stores. The stores in Japan for some reason are like open. Like you don't walk into the stores. They just have a bunch of stores in the building and they're like separated by like the flooring, I guess. Which is kind of weird for me. But this building was like full of like stores with like home goods and electronics. And there's like this camping section with like 50 million fishing rods and stuff. As you can see, this is like the furniture section. And the luggage section was on the bottom floor. Or Gunpla. This is Yokohama. I went to Yokohama because this is the 14th. I left on the 15th, I believe. I went to Yokohama because I was gonna buy shit from the Pokemon store because I have a nephew, and these are pajamas for babies. They sell this. I passed through the Nissan showroom where they have a bunch of concept cars. Really cool. And it's free to enter. I didn't know that, but it's a bridge that goes right through a building, and I wanted to get to the other side of the building, so of course I took the bridge. And as I look to my side, there's like the Nissan showroom. One of the fun things about Japan is that even if you don't know what's in that area, you can just walk around and explore and you will find random and cool shit to see. And this is like one of those places. A bunch of concept cars and stuff. I wanted to go to this area because I wanted to go also to the Ghibli store, which I bought. It's not, you can barely see it, but above my head over here is Gigi, and he's what do you call it, like a piggy bank, and I bought that. And I also bought a music box, which is this one right here. But I wanted to see the Cosmo clock because it's in Honey and Clover, which is my favorite anime series. And I've always wanted to visit this area. And after about 10 years of failing to do so because different things happened, my first trip I had planned to go in 2014, and shit happened that I had no money. Then I tried to go again in 2018 and I lost my job, so I couldn't do it. I couldn't be irresponsible with my money, so I had to save up, so I couldn't fly. And then they closed due to COVID, and finally 10 years after my original plan, I managed to get to Japan. I also printed many of these coins from the Pokemon Center. I have a bunch of them. This is the hotel I stayed at in Yokohama, and this is my final meal at the airport before leaving. I had a little Caesar salad, I think it was, because I want to eat something light, because honestly, being 14 hours in the plane and being full and having to take a shit is not fun. So I decided to eat something light. Another one of those tips I would recommend you having if you come and go. Always use the bathroom before boarding, because 14 hours is no joke. But that was that. And that was my first trip. I didn't really get too much into detail about my other trips. As far as my breakdown of my expenses, let me take a screenshot of this screen. Yeah, taking a photo of something here. Let me see if I can upload this to Paint. MS Paint. Let me see if it shows up. There we go. So if you're looking for an idea of budget, this was the amount of money I spent on my last trip, which of course was a bit more what do you call it, crazy, I guess, or not crazy, but I went a bit more ham on how much money I spent. Great, I resized the shit without resizing the image. Now it's not viewable. So you can have a more accurate idea of how much money you can spend on your trip. Fucking hell. This was my last trip. My last trip, I spent 39 days in Japan. So of course, you're gonna see that the hotel costs are gonna be a bit higher, because of course I spent 5 weeks in Japan. But even so, I stayed in a Fukuoka hotel, and it was $89 a night. The Kumamoto hotel I stayed in was $50 a night. The Hiroshima hotel, $48, so it's not that expensive. Kanazawa, which was the Hyatt, I stayed at the Hyatt in Kanazawa, $72. Kawasaki hotel, Kawasaki is the Tokyo Ray, which is the one next to the airport, and that one is a bit expensive at $74. The Kyoto hotel, for some reason, was very cheap this time around. On my first trip, it was a bit higher than that, but I spent $50 per night on my Kyoto hotel. And the most expensive one was the Ueno hotel, because Tokyo, of course, is the most expensive place. But even so, as you can see, it's not that expensive. At least in the hotels. And if you stay like in a capsule hotel, it's not that much cheaper than, let's say, $48. It's like $40 a capsule hotel. And you don't get the privacy, you don't get the toilet, you don't get I mean, you have a toilet, but it's not a toilet for you. It's like a big ass public toilet, basically. So I would rather shit in peace and not have to wake up every time someone gets inside a pod right next to me. So I'd rather pay like $8 more and stay at an actual business hotel. As you can see, my round trip, on my first trip, the one I showed in the photos, my first trip was $1,250 was the plane ticket. It was very cheap. But the prices have been going up each time, and this third time around, my round trip was almost $1,600, and that includes
going from Puerto Rico to New York and from New York to Japan and then back. So from Japan to New York and from New York to Puerto Rico. And my flight ticket, my one-way flight from Tokyo to Fukuoka was $83. If I had taken the bullet train, it would have taken me, I believe it's somewhere between 6 to 8 hours, and it was like $300. So doing small local flights can be a way to save money. Then the rest, it's basically money I withdrew from the ATMs. You can withdraw money from, you can use your credit card, or you can even use your, if you have a debit card, you can use that. And you only get charged like, I think it's like $2 for the transaction or for a fee, but you can withdraw money from the bank at the convenience store or at the bank or at the post office. And as you can see here on the side is the list of on my third trip. I did take the Shinkansen a few times because I wanted to save up on time. So after flying to Fukuoka, I went from Hakata to Kumamoto, which is Kumamoto is a bit south from Fukuoka, and it only took $45, but it was about 30 minutes only, maybe a bit less. I then went back from Kumamoto to Hiroshima, which is almost back to or close to, or it's Hiroshima is on the halfway point between Osaka and Fukuoka is Hiroshima. Then I took from Hiroshima to Kyoto, I took another bullet train. Then from Kyoto to Kanazawa, I took 2 trains. It was a bullet train and some special line, whatever, for $63. And then from Kanazawa to Tokyo, which oddly enough was extremely expensive considering the fact that Kanazawa to Tokyo, they're fairly close by. Only like 2 hours again. But overall, I spent all that money in the Shinkansen versus maybe taking a flight, which would have been faster and maybe even cheaper. On that last trip I took, which was 37 days, I spent almost $200 on train tickets. I mean, not train tickets, because never buy train tickets. Buy one of those cards, the IC cards, and you can recharge that and use that. And you don't have to worry about having to do the math or where you're going to get off. It really simplifies things. I saw a bunch of tourists standing in front of the huge map, looking out of the stations and trying to figure out how much it would cost to travel from one station to another. That's kind of retarded, honestly. Just put money in your IC card, tap the card, and when you get to your destination, you tap it again, and it does the math for you, and it takes the money out. Also, when you tap your card, it shows you how many funds you have, and in case you run out of funds, there are many places you can recharge your card inside the station. So yeah, don't buy tickets. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of brain power, and it makes no sense to do. You can just tap your IC card and just, that's it. Also, you can use your IC card to pay at convenience stores, and you can pay also at some vending machines. You can pay with your IC card. So it's usable on not only the trains, although I only use it on the train, but it can also be used in other things, especially mainly the convenience stores and the vending machines. I did spend $1,000 on doujinshi and manga. Don't do that. I spent about $80 on taxis. I took a few taxis. I took a taxi from the airport to my first hotel. I later took a taxi from the train station in Kumamoto to my hotel in Kumamoto, which was close to the castle, but it was a bit of a walk, and I didn't want to have to carry I had 2 suitcases with me, and it's just way too much to go around lugging 2 fucking suitcases around. Also, the 2 suitcases, it's not that I had a bunch of shit. Mainly one of them was for packing just regular stuff, like my clothing and my winter clothing and all that. And the other suitcase was just for anime figures and other crap I bought. So I would recommend that you go to Japan with 1 suitcase for your clothing, and once you get to Japan, you buy another in case you want to bring a bunch of shit back, especially figures and all that. Also, as you can see on my list, is this shit moving here? Oh, because I'm moving it. Okay. As you can see, let me see, where is it? Estimated shipping costs down here. I spent $560 shipping merch. And that is because instead of just putting everything inside a suitcase, suitcases have a weight limit. And if you're going to buy manga and shit like that, of course it's gonna weigh a ton. It's books. You won't. The what is it? The companies and the flight companies, or whatever they're called, they're gonna charge you an extra fee if your luggage is overweight. They're also going to charge you an extra fee if you want to add more luggage to your. They usually give you like 1 or 2 free luggages with your ticket price. But if you want to add another one, you're gonna have to pay about $200 more. So instead of paying $200 more for another suitcase, and instead of having to then drag my ass around Japan with 3 fucking suitcases full of crap that weighs a ton, I just go to the post, put everything in a box, and I just ship it. I ship it by sea, so it usually takes anywhere from 2 months to 2.5 months to get to me. But I mean, if I'm going to be staying in Japan for 39 days, that's just 1 month gone already. So I might as well just ship shit. And then when I get back home, it's basically like waiting for Christmas to open your gifts and your souvenirs as they arrive in the mail. If you do things correctly, which my first time I did not do it, you won't have issues with mailing things. And by doing things correctly, I mean if you're going to ship, let's say, 20 pounds of manga, you better fortify the shit out of that box. So what I did is I would buy the boxes at the post office. They sell some just standard boxes at the post office. You go to Don Quixote or to some of the convenience stores and look for packing tape. Either the one that has like fabric inside, the fabric tape, or the one that is just clear plastic or like clear white. And you make the box. This is what I would do at nights when I got back to my hotel. I just got my boxes and I would basically fortify them on the inside and the outside with tape, so that when you ship all that heavy crap, mainly books, the box itself doesn't break. Because on my first trip, this one I showed, I shipped 14 boxes. And out of those 14 boxes, 2 of them did not. Well, 1 of them did not arrive at all, which means it broke The box broke and everything spilled over, and they either threw it away or stole it. And the other box, another one, got torn up, and some of the books inside fell out. And they either threw them away or stole them. I don't know. So my previous or my last 2 trips, I did not have that issue because I fortified the boxes. Apparently, there is some issue with the postal service and with customs going on, and they're a bit more strict with things or what you can mail. I'm not sure of how things work at this current moment because they have changed a few times. But from the difference between my second trip and my third trip was the whole tariff issue, and they were not letting you ship things that were over $100 in value. Of course, I was sending manga across, and manga, most of it was secondhand, so it was fairly cheap, and I didn't have that issue. You can also lie in the forum and say that maybe a figure that you might want to ship is only worth $40 because you have to write the prices down. So you can maybe lie and say that the figure is only worth $40 when in reality it's worth $120. You can do that. But I did not have the need to do that because, again, I was shipping books and the books are fairly cheap. Also, the smaller boxes are stronger and more sturdy than the bigger boxes. So take that into consideration. I don't have a photo with my... I took a photo of the shipping, one of the shipping boxes that arrived with all the tape. But I don't have it at hand right now, so I cannot. But maybe I'll post it later on Twitter on how you should pack your shit so it doesn't break in the mail. On my second trip, I sent over 35 boxes, and none of them broke. And on this third trip, I sent, I think it was 25 boxes in total. So yeah, I shipped a bunch of shit. And each box was about $20 to $30 depending on the weight. So it's not that bad. Also, you have the convenience that you don't have to worry about having to carry luggage and heavy. Let's see what else I had. I did buy some anime figures. I also spent a disgusting amount of money on the arcades. And I spent quite a bit of money on food. And again, I was not being conservative with my budget. I went like balls to the wall, and I ate a bunch of fairly expensive shit. And that's why I mentioned at the start of the stream that if you want to save money, you are probably better off buying some convenience food and eating that at home, or maybe buying that takeout sushi, which is fairly cheaper than let's say a sit-in restaurant. And in parks and attractions, I spent about $300. That includes I went to a few museums, I went to a few other places. Every single observatory, I like going up the observatories to get like a aerial view, and those cost usually about $12 or something like that. So I went to a bunch of places. I went to a few zoos, I went to an aquarium, and I spent $300 in total. So overall, when it comes to parks and attractions, it's not that much. So my biggest cost itself was, as you can see in the doujinshi manga, and actually shipping and the arcade costs. And then the food, which you can lower down if you eat at convenience stores. So that's another tip. Also, maybe not everyone is going to stay 39 days in Tokyo, so of course your hotel prices, or the price you spend on hotels and shit like that, is going to go down. So this is another way where you can save a bunch of money. Japan is a very cash-based society, so as you can see, most of the stuff, or most of the money I had came from cash I got from the ATM every few days. Depending on if I was gonna buy a bunch of shit or not, my withdrawals went up. From here to here, I spent 4 days without basically using much money, but sometimes I even took out money like every single day. On the 28th, the 29th, and the 31, I took out money. So overall, that's pretty much a breakdown or a realistic budget of what more or less it would cost to visit Japan. Also, if you're not from Puerto Rico and you're from the United States, and you can take a trip directly from, let's say, New York. I think there's one from Chicago. There's another from the West Coast, of course, California, Seattle. There are trips from there. You can probably maybe knock down like $500 from that round trip cost. So let's go again through everything. The Shinkansen, of course, is expensive. If you can take local flights, you can do that. Hotels, you're better off trying to look for hotels that are business hotels. But of course, depending on your location, that might differ on how much you're gonna spend. And in my case, Tokyo was the most expensive, followed by the Fukuoka hotel. Fukuoka is basically the biggest city on the western side of Japan. So it's also a fairly expensive place. But it's still cheaper than Tokyo overall. And I also stayed in the most busy area of the city. Had I stayed at a place a bit further away, I probably would have gotten maybe a better price, maybe a $60 per night hotel. Also take that into consideration. Then, as you can see, then everything depends on how much you're willing to spend on your entertainment and other shit. And as I said, you don't have to mail everything back to yourself, but it's less weight you have to carry with, and it's less problems you have to deal with when you go to the airport. So consider this more or less a fairly complete guide as to any thing you might want to do in Japan, or some tips at least. If anyone has any questions, I'm willing to answer them. Again, I don't consider myself to be the most knowledgeable person when it comes to this, but I mean, I've done this already 3 times. For my second trip was also a month long. So at this point, I've been in Japan more than about 3 months actually. So I guess I could say I have some experience with that. I don't see anyone saying anything. So I guess with that, I will end my stream. I was planning on ending at 9. I guess it went a bit over. I don't think I'm going to raid anyone. But I guess thanks for watching. Thanks for coming. Thanks for helping me out and giving me feedback with the audio and how everything looks and shit like that. I'm trying to stream a bit more. Oh, I see someone. Ninja mentioned something. Let me finish my train of thought. But I'm planning to start streaming a bit more. Things are going to start slowing down a bit at work. But for now, maybe I'm planning to do the 1 hour, 1 day a week streams. Maybe eventually I'll start ramping up and go to 2 and 3 as I go along. But for now, I'm staying at 1. I'm planning on just doing them on Thursdays for now. I'm not sure how things clear up, so I'm not sure how the schedule is going to look. But expect that in the future. My videos have been paused for the last month. I have to record a fucking video for the AI shit, which I said I was going to record like 3 weeks ago, and I kind of forgot. As for the question itself, who are the worst tourists? Hands down, the Chinese. Chinese suck. Every single problem I have seen with a tourist doing something that they are not supposed to be doing, it has been a Chinese tourist. And I'm not saying that all Chinese tourists are bad. I'm just saying that not all Chinese tourists, but always a Chinese tourist. As in, people jumping barriers to get to places that they shouldn't go to. People outright throwing trash on the floor. And shit like that. Just people being loud on the train. Something impressive about Japan is that you can get in a train with 1,000 people and you won't hear a sound. Maybe some coughing or yawning, but that's it. You won't hear people talking to each other or screaming to each other or singing. Yet, when I went to on that first trip I went to, when I went to Nara, coming back from Nara, I got into the train, and there were 3 Chinese I'm not sure if they were teenagers or if they were young adults. I mean, they're Asian and they all look like they're 15, I guess. But there were 3 younger girls, and they were sitting at their priority seats. Every train has a priority seat that's for people with disabilities or people that are older or people that may have kids. And the entire little bench had the 3 girls on it. And of course, they shouldn't be there because there were old people in the train. But not only that, they at some point decided they wanted to start playing music. And they decided to show each other the music that they were listening to at full volume. And there was an American dude that apparently married some Japanese woman. I suppose he's American. I mean, his accent made me think he was American. And he had a kid and a wife. And he basically told them to shut the fuck up, because that's not how they do things in Japan, and that they should respect the Japanese culture. In cases like that, I'm not gonna step in and be like the defender. I'm tourist. I don't want to start shit with people that I don't know on a train. But I mean, I'm glad that there are some people that do that, and apparently they live in Japan, so they have the authority to do it. But again, Chinese, horrible. There were a few Latinos around, and they were loud, but that's about it. Just loud people on the street, not really just screaming. Just Latinos are loud in nature. And there were a bunch of Spaniards. I saw a bunch of Spaniards that were also kind of loud, because they were in like big groups of people. They were mostly older. There were like tours and shit full of like older Spanish people, and they were also fairly loud. But other than that, they weren't really rude, and they weren't really like breaking rules like the Chinese tourists. And of course, there's also the Nigerians. So they're not tourists; they're living there, but they're fucking assholes, and they're touts. On this first trip, my credit card got compromised. I believe it was in Osaka when I was taking money out from one of the ATMs. I did not go to a convenience store, and I did not go to a bank or a post office. So there is a high chance that the ATM that was in the building's lobby had some sort of card reading mechanism, and they cloned my credit card, and they tried using it, of course, in Nigeria, buying some shit for like $1,000. But my card has a block in it that locks or blocks any sort of transaction that's above $100. I mean, that card had. So I got lucky, and I didn't have to deal with problem with that. But I had to call my parents back here in Puerto Rico and warn them about them, because I didn't have anything on me. I didn't have a laptop and anything. I called them so they could send me the information for the credit card fraud line from my bank, which I didn't have on hand, and they had, so they sent me quickly, and so that I could call like at 9 p.m., which was about 9 a.m. here, which the banks are open, so I could talk to a representative so they could cancel my card. And that happened in Osaka. Maybe that's another reason why I kind of hated Osaka, because it's just a bunch of shit that happened that just kind of soured part of the trip. But yeah, many of the problems are either caused by Chinese tourists or Nigerians. As I said earlier in Kabukicho, you could see a bunch of Nigerians on the phone talking around and fucking around. When I was trying to take a photo of the temple, I could not do it because there was a fucking Nigerian standing around. And you know that when you take photos around them, they start chimping out because, I don't know, hate technology, I guess. And they start getting aggressive, and I didn't want to deal with that, so I decided not to take photos. But after leaving the temple, a bunch of them started coming up to me and like offering me a bunch of shit. They offer you drugs, they offer you whores, they offer you everything. You know, all the illegal shit in Japan that you should probably do. And I wouldn't recommend you doing it. Not because I'm like a goody two-shoes, but you don't want to be caught in a bad situation or in a bad position when you are in a country that's not your own. Let's say something happens and they throw you in jail. You cannot defend yourself because the person that maybe you had a problem with speaks the language or maybe is from there and you're not. So there's going to be a bias against you simply because you're a foreigner. And this is not a bad thing. I mean, this happens everywhere. But again, don't start shit in a country you're not from. And yes, you don't want to be in jail in any Asian country, even in Japan. Even in Japan is fairly nice, decent. Apparently, jail in Japan kind of sucks. And overall, it just ruins your trip. You're not gonna spend almost $10,000 on a month-long trip and throw it all in the trash because you decided to start shit, or someone decided to start shit against you, and they threw you in jail. And they usually, if they happen to throw you in jail, more likely than not, they're gonna deport you after they finish, or you finish your stay. But just don't. It's just a waste of time, waste of money, and just will ruin your trip. You want to go to Japan to have fun. You don't want to go to Japan to have a bad time. So avoid Nigerians. Avoid Chinese people. I guess they're not problematic, but they're gonna break the rules, do whatever the fuck they want. But other than that, just stay to yourself, be polite, always smile at the people, always bow, always be grateful. It's really impressive how much people are affected by how you look or how you present yourself. If you dress like shit, people are gonna treat you like shit. So try not to dress like shit. Try look up the rules. Even in summer, they tend not to use shorts and things like that. At least not in the city. Although that might be changing. The whole tattoo thing doesn't matter that much given how many tourists are out there. I don't think they care that much, but it might lock you out of going to an onsen or going to certain places that they don't allow people with tattoos. So keep that in mind. Again, if you smile and if you are polite, people will go that extra mile, that extra step to help you or to be accommodating to you. And even if you don't speak the language, if they see that you're trying to make an effort to communicate with them, they would appreciate that. I haven't felt any sort of prejudice against people there in Japan. I haven't felt any anger. I haven't felt any. The only, I guess, it's not even an issue, was that the person at the Gundam store on my second trip turned me around and didn't want me to enter the store because apparently I had to buy or reserve or have a reservation, even though the store was fucking empty. So always do your research. If there's a place you really want to go, look up if you have to maybe make a reservation. Many times it's free of charge. They just like to follow the rules very strictly. But other than that, I mean, just people are super nice. Again, I haven't had a single issue. Just shit that has happened around me, and of course the Nigerians getting up in your face and being very aggressive because they want to scam you basically. So look up Nigerians in Japan and you will see all the scams they do and all the shit all the problems they cause. So avoid them like the plague. Even then, they're gonna come up to you, they're gonna be really friendly. Just smile. If they give you their fist, just fist bump them and be friendly with them. But again, don't overstay your welcome. Just tell them that, you know, I have some place to go, my bad, sorry, thank you man, or I'll see you later, I'll come back later, and they'll take that as and they'll back off usually. So don't get aggressive. Don't spurg out in the middle of the street and start screaming. But I mean, that's about it. The Gundam base in the Gundam base in Odaiba, their city. If you want to enter now, you need a reservation. And someone told me that after 3 p.m. you can enter, but I mean, I waited until 3 p.m. and they still didn't want to let me. So I guess they didn't want my money. So I went to another Gundam store that sold kits and I bought a few kits from them instead. But other than that, I think that's gonna be it for me. It's getting a bit late. I have to call my family because they've been bitching on the phone nonstop. Maybe I'll see you again on Thursday. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but that should be all for now. So thank you for watching. If you can, like, share, and I'll see you around. Maybe I'll play some games. Maybe play, I don't know, maybe do a poll or something to see what people want to see. But I want to start streaming, which is a goal I had at the start of the year, which got complicated when shit happened. And no, don't worry too much about scalpers. Just look at the prices. Secondhand stores sell things based on rarity. So maybe if some items get scalped, maybe the prices will increase on those secondhand stores. But just don't buy it. Fuck it. You know, there are many. Japan is like a giant toy store full of a bunch of shit that you're probably gonna like. So maybe don't buy that thing that is known for being scalped, like the Pokemon cards and everything, and just buy something else. Even the Pokemon cards, they have limits on how much you can buy, so that way they can limit the people that do the scalping and prohibit people from buying a bunch of their inventory to later scalp. That in mind. But with that, thank you for watching, and I'm gonna be out. So see you.